This bottle here, Noble Oak. You picked this out?
I picked it out just because I like the way the bottle looks. It's minimalist design.
Yep.
The amber color. I've paid attention to the colors of the actual alcohol. Okay. The darker, the better. So
yeah. That's your running theory or your working theory right now. Is that the darker it is, the better it is.
Yeah. The lighter it is, it's trash.
Is that the double oak?
This is a double oak bourbon. Yeah, it is.
It's the last bourbon for bourbon.
So you just like the way that it looked. That's what you went. You didn't talk to anybody about this. No research.
I'm done talking to
Nothing
people.
on the front end.
I feel like that's the better way.
I'm done.
All right.
Talking to folks.
So I'm going to read the back off real quick.
Please
that's how we'll kick this episode off, and then I'll get a little bit and we'll pass it around. Okay, so Noble Oak. Most of a bourbon's character comes from the wood, and with Noble Oak, we elegantly marry two of the world's most coveted cask types.
That's what she said.
First-time honored methods are used to rest Noble Oak in charred New American white oak barrels. Then, through our proprietary finishing process, we add complexity. We add complexity using Spanish sherry oak staves. This is the same wood used to craft the world's finest and rarest single malts. The result is a totally unique flavor that is elegantly balanced and bold. Notes of dried fruit, cherry, vanilla, and spice pervade. Josh, can we get a little look up on that? Pervade, P-E-R-V-A-D-E.
Never heard that word in my life.
Pervade. All right, while we're looking that up, I'm going to take the plastic off real fast.
Crack the top.
See if we can manage this. And then we'll dive into it. All right. It's not working out for me.
You need my knife?
You got a knife on you?
Yeah, of course. All the time. It's Baltimore.
Let's see the knife. Don't stab me. What's up?
Nothing. I'm going to just wait till the bottle comes around.
There you go.
You need me to spell it again?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Not a problem.
Pervade?
He's happy to do it. P-E-R-V-A-D-E.
Oh, pervade.
Pervade?
Especially of a smell spread throughout and be perceived in every part of it.
Notes of dried fruit, cherry vanilla, and spice pervade.
Yep. It is a verb. So, yeah. Spread throughout and perceived in every part of it.
Oh, so they're just trying to give me a hard time.
Example, a smell of stale cabbage pervaded the air.
I'm going to be
I have to start this episode over.
hitting my wife over the head with that word this week.
There you go, boy. All right. Now that we know I don't do English that good.
Hold on. See what you did there.
There we go. All right. Very good. Okay, cool. Had a good week, though? Everybody had a good week so far?
Ravens won.
To start the week? I think it's to finish.
Got my flu shot. I feel like shit, but we're here.
It's not annoying at all, is it?
No, just get it close to the mic. It really makes it better.
Let's not break glasses.
Nope.
What's up with that water glass? You've really been holding on to that a lot.
I've refilled it like 3 times. I got my flu shot. I feel like shit.
You got to get yourself a big ass
Get you
cup.
some whiskey going then. All right. So let me run through a few things we're going to discuss on this episode for those that just kind of want a little heads up.
For those tuning in.
All right. Big news for Deadpool 3 and Hugh Jackman. Star Trek gets pulled from Paramount's release schedule. Wakanda Forever has a extra long run time. Alan Rickman's diaries are revealed. James Earl Jones signs over some rights, some very important ones.
Yeah, interesting.
Dahmer gets review bombed by critics, but takes the most watched series, Throne, at Netflix. So there's a interesting piece.
Conflicting stuff.
And then Bruce Willis sells his likeness for deepfakes in future films. Also kind of an interesting little tidbit. And then obviously watch lists will kind of review what we're getting into. But let's go ahead, take a sip.
Cheers.
Of the Noble Oak.
Episode 33, Noble Oak. Spicy.
Any initial thoughts? Josh is smiling at me from across the room.
I'm smiling just because I'm looking at the show notes, the modifications, and Taylor went through and capitalized the names and added a period to Isaiah's sentence.
That's our boy.
I have a little like OCD thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I get that.
Like a touch of the tism, you know?
Touch of the tism.
That's what my wife says to me.
Every week. Every week.
There's an opportunity to get canceled.
It's one of us. It's one of us every week. And then 5 minutes in.
I rise above, guys. I'm not ashamed of myself. Yeah.
Touch of the tism. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We'll be saying
You can overcome anything, guys. You remember
You
that.
can.
It's an inspirational show. That's what I'm here to do. All right. So, first piece of news, thing on the docket is the Hugh Jackman announcement, the Deadpool 3 announcement. Because I guess they missed
So
D23?
Yeah, it was just random. I think it was like 4:30, yesterday or
odd time.
I gotta because I follow this movie account that it's like the only account that I get notifications from.
Yeah.
For like movie news.
On what service is this?
Twitter. And
is that your primary social media?
Yeah, well, more
like
for
news.
Go to?
Okay,
yeah.
great.
Instagram is nothing but like butts and like it's just too much. It's too much. I don't
Too
need,
many butts.
I prefer words. You know what I'm saying? Like you go to Instagram Explore, please. That shit is nonsense. So I got the notification. I think it was like discussing films or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was fucking Ryan Reynolds talking about Deadpool 3. I'm at the gas station. I watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah. And you're excited. You're looking forward to it.
Oh, I was very excited.
Are you a big Deadpool guy?
Yeah.
You like Ryan Reynolds a lot?
Yeah. I think Deadpool is he's very much in relation to the X-Men. He's a branch of that, and I think Ryan Reynolds did a fabulous job of actually bringing him to life. Like he's almost a spot on
for the comics.
Like literally almost. He might be the most accurate adaptation of a comic book character probably ever done in film. So, he's spot on, and it's great.
Quite the claim.
Yeah. So, a lot of people were anticipating Deadpool 3, the introduction of Deadpool into the MCU.
Yeah.
Which is a weird thing for the third part of a franchise to be included into something else. You see, like it's
maybe. I don't know if I find it too strange. I think his character, given like
of
the
course.
rating of it all, I feel like that's a weird thing to slip into the Marvel universe at this stage of the game.
We don't know how that too. We don't know how it's going to fit. And then he made the announcement that Hugh Jackman is going to come back as Wolverine.
Yeah, so talk to me about that a little bit. He had kind of passed the reins, I thought, on, if you will. Now, not to somebody per se, but I thought he was kind of hanging up his hat after Logan. I thought that was a nice way to go out, if I'm being honest.
I think Ryan Reynolds was like, it's what the people want, and after the success of seeing Patrick Stewart in Multiverse of Madness, and then all the stuff that happened with Spider-Man, you see how fans are reacting to it. Because now it gives the character, it kind of gives them validity with a feature inside of the MCU. Like now he can walk away from it saying Wolverine existed in what Marvel has actually created for themselves.
You think he just wants to dip his toes in the Marvel
just a little bit?
pool?
I'm here. I did it.
Do you think he continues on beyond this?
No.
The Reddit comments, the top comments on these teasers have basically been, well, it's confirmed he'll be in it for 30 seconds. That kind of thing.
It's a fan service. I think that's
but
all it is.
It seems like it might be a movie where like the two of them kind of
a buddy cop.
It could be.
Yeah, like a buddy cop thing. Because
I would love that. Yeah.
I feel as if that's how they were setting it up. That was my interpretation of it. When you saw the Deadpool logo and the Wolverine one on top of it, it made it seem like it was these guys tagging.
And they have such a interesting relationship in the comics, and Feige is all about fan service lately.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's really what it's going to be.
And they're related a little bit, right? In the sense of like their abilities.
They didn't really touch on it in the Deadpool movie, in Deadpool 1. But Deadpool himself is not a mutant. He's not.
Yeah.
His powers were derived from gene splicing and taken from Wolverine and then given to him. So they kind of touched on it in X-Men Origins, which was just fucking terrible. And that wasn't Deadpool. That was just something that they fucking created. But in the comic books, his powers are given to him from the Weapons Plus program, and he's created in that. And they give him Wolverine's genes, and it's kind of modified so he can. It's a level up from Wolverine's healing factor, which is kind of dope. So yeah, they're kind of cousins.
All right, 2024, right?
Yeah,
Is that September 2024?
And then they dropped the second one. Did you see the second teaser?
Yeah, I saw them. They put out like a follow-up video in the same format. Yeah, I bet you there's probably a few of those that come. I would think
they are like, all right, so we're gonna tell you how it goes, and then they play Jitterbug by Wham.
Yeah, I didn't watch it, but I saw that they started posting some of the content.
Cool. So yeah, I'm very excited.
I love that.
Yeah,
it was also kind of a find the Ryan Reynolds properties. You know, in the
because
first
he had
one,
his like tequila or his gin or whatever,
which he's just pouring straight, emptying the bottle.
Yeah,
he was wearing a Wrexham hat at one point.
He's got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he does.
Mint Mobile, yeah.
You know anybody with that? Mint Mobile?
It's T-Mobile.
It is?
It's a T-Mobile, MVNO.
Of course.
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody with it.
No, I've never seen anybody with it either.
No.
Metro PCS.
Unrelated here, I'll tell you what. If you're gonna, this is a Josh like hot tip, real quick. If you're gonna sign up for a phone carrier, always use the no name brand, the Consumer Cellular, the Mint, the Metro, the whatever. It's exactly the same, but it's much cheaper.
But you got to bring your phone, which doesn't matter.
Sometimes you can buy the phone from them.
Yeah, but what do you use?
T-Mobile, just because I get a great deal. But if I didn't, I'd use Metro.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Why? What?
So much? It's cheaper. It's exactly the same service, just cheaper.
Because it piggybacks off of their service.
Yeah, it uses exclusive, and Metro is actually owned by T-Mobile. So yeah, exactly the same service, much cheaper.
I mean, I'm sorry, just lack of better words. Yeah, those undercarriage just seem just a little.
I understand that. They definitely don't have.
There's a word I want to use, but I'm not going to say it.
They definitely don't have a good
the reputation's not
the reputation's not that hot.
But I think I don't know.
Those store crowds. I don't want to go in there.
Opportunity number 2 coming up.
Yeah. Star Trek.
I'm not a Trekkie, but I'll watch a Star Trek movie.
Now, what's your hang up with Star Trek? Why are you not a Trekkie? Because you would consider yourself a Star Wars fan.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna wear a suit. It's kind of like
but you don't have to wear a suit.
They wear like a suit. It's like a business. Like
you're saying they have to wear. You're saying
it's like a
business uniform.
Yeah, it's a uniform.
You know, it's a military, right? It's a uniform.
Yeah, it's an outfit.
But it's like I don't. Okay, so soldiers are not wearing their like naval officers are not wearing like their Navy shit to go do. They're gonna wear like fatigues and like.
Yeah, but that's what they're wearing in the show, technically.
I don't know.
A form of that.
But they're always wearing this like uniform that's to do all the action.
Yes,
that bothers me so much.
So I don't know if that's 100% accurate. Now, I'm not well versed in the old Star Trek series, but I know in the new Star Trek series, when they're not on the ship doing Star Trek things, they wear regular clothes.
Okay, so I might be wrong. I haven't seen
and
it.
Even in the older ones, in like Next Generation, they'd have like a combat uniform and a bridge uniform and a dress uniform. And
every time I've seen it, they were in the bridge uniform.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so aside from you don't like their outfits.
I don't like that, but I'll watch Star Trek.
Okay, so you've seen the newer series of like movies.
There's one right now out with
that's a TV show.
It's a black chick that's like the main.
Yeah, that's the Paramount, the CBS
show.
All Access
Discovery?
One. Yeah, Discovery.
Star Trek Discovery?
Yeah.
And then there's Picard, which has nothing to do with that, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Also a TV show.
Also on Paramount.
Star Trek really like monopolized the whole TV show thing.
Oh yeah.
Early on. That's where like they had, I feel like, a lot of success was in the TV.
I feel like I was a little too young for the original Star Trek, but Next Generation, like my grandmother was like big on that. Like that's who I watched TV with, my grandmother. So like she was like, "You gonna watch Patrick Stewart tonight?"
So Chris Pine.
Yeah.
He's kind of the boy in the Star Trek.
Is he gonna have that hair?
Movie thing now, right?
Yeah.
That series. They had another one lined up, but it's been canceled or it's taken off the release schedule. Seems like that's a popular thing these days.
I don't know if people are excited about it. I know there's Trekkies out there who are like, they'll get this shit $100 million in the weekend.
Yeah.
But
It seems like there'd be enough money based on that alone to do it.
Oh yeah, you know, like even if it's trash, they're Trekkies. Like they'll go out. Like I think like Dash is a Trekkie. Like he like fucking loves that shit.
Oh, I love that shit too.
You love that shit.
Oh, hardcore.
So like,
Okay, so you're a big Star Trek guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So take me through this landscape a little bit. We have the shows initially, right? Or was there a movie that
the
kicked this
show
all
was
off?
first.
The show was
original
first.
series.
the
yeah,
original
right.
with William Shatner.
That's correct. Well, originally it was not William Shatner.
Star name's long.
Can't remember what the pilot did not have William Shatner.
Okay.
They kicked that guy out and got William Shatner.
Correct.
And that ran for a while.
I think 3 years.
And then it went to
3? That was it?
I think it was just 3 years. Yeah.
I thought that shit was on
And
for like
then
20
there were
years.
That's what
there
I
were
thought too.
4 movies. 3 movies, I think, and then the Next Generation started.
So show, movies,
Yep. Mhm.
Next Generation.
Correct.
Next Generation runs for longer than 3
7
seasons?
years.
7 years.
7
Yep.
years.
And then that ends,
Yep.
and we move into the new series of films. Or
No, there was still more films.
More
so
films.
they did 5 films. 5 films with the original cast.
okay,
And some of them actually overlapped release time when Next Generation came out. And then Next Generation released 3 movies.
wow,
And then overlapping with Next Generation, Deep Space Nine ran for 7 seasons.
right, yeah.
And then Voyager ran for 7 seasons also.
Voyager.
wow.
Yep.
Now the different names, are they different like ships, like
They're all
Voyager?
Enterprise.
Or they're all on the Enterprise. They just what is the significance of the different names?
The Enterprise is they all have a different serial number. Essentially, they call it a registry number, but it's like any Navy vessel would.
No,
but
no,
they're
but
all Enterprise.
With the show name, like
Yeah.
what is Voyager?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Voyager actually is the name of that ship. Sorry,
Gotcha.
you're right. They're not all
So what is
Enterprise.
Deep Space Nine?
Deep
Yeah.
Space 9 feet.
Just
Deep,
like a
Space,
location.
Deep Space 9 was a space station that
Okay.
the Federation took over.
Okay.
They
Okay.
were invited in for security.
Very good.
Right.
God.
All right.
Yep.
So
Great show. Also, Deep Space Nine. I
you're
know you're not Trekkies. but
You're a little disappointed by the news then that Star Trek movies are a little in limbo right now.
I'll be honest with you. I actually haven't kept up with the movies.
Okay.
I saw the first Chris Pine one.
Yes. How'd you feel about that?
Maybe the second one. I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed
It was a good
It
revival.
was fine, right?
Yeah.
Like it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was good because they hadn't done a movie in
A while.
10
I liked
plus
it.
years.
I thought it was
right?
good.
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
Bam. Getting some
I thought the
education.
movies were fine.
Yep.
I didn't.
And
I was,
I've watched Picard. I watched the first season of Discovery, and for whatever reason, trailed off.
fucking Picard.
I've watched Picard.
Patrick Stewart
I
still
love
fucking
Patrick
got
Stewart.
it, bro.
He's really great. Yeah.
No signs of.
Yeah.
Just give me the script.
Yep.
He's out there. he's just hitting the stage. Just going crazy.
Yep.
love
At 92.
Him and
Mine-
Shatner.
82.
He's only 82. Okay, well,
82. Sorry.
But
I was gonna say
Shatner's like 92,
Oh
right?
my gosh.
Shatner's got to be up there.
Yeah, he's old as fuck. And
91.
and he's still doing commercials. He doesn't look 91 at all. He looks maybe early 80s.
Didn't he go to space? Didn't they send him up? Didn't Bezos send him up?
He did.
Yeah.
I believe he
Or
did.
to
yeah.
like, high Earth, whatever.
Yep.
Maybe
Good
not
old
quite
Bezos
space.
taking care of the people.
the people.
Yeah. Wakanda Forever.
Longest runtime.
Wakanda Forever.
2 hours and 40 minutes.
2 hours and 41 minutes. No, it's the second longest in the MCU.
What was the first? Was it Endgame?
Endgame, I think, is just over 3
I'm gonna
hours.
need mad pee breaks.
241.
That's all I thought about when I saw that.
241. Have they put out like a real trailer for Wakanda Forever yet?
Yes, it came out.
I feel like it's all been like teasers and stuff.
Nah, it was a real trailer.
That gives us like some sense of the storyline.
It was, there was an event and it came out during the event and I can't remember what event it was.
It all feels very mysterious to me.
It was, I don't know, but it had Thames, the singer, singing Bob Marley's "No Woman, No Cry"
Okay.
through the trailer. But I can't remember when it gave us our first look at Namor, and like some other stuff. But like that was it.
All right.
And I
And
can't
that's
remember-
November though. It's coming up.
Yeah, soon.
November. Looking forward to that.
I am.
How do you feel about the Black Panther, like Wakanda thing. Are you like stoked on that? Is that like you really like is in the Marvel universe as a whole?
I wouldn't say I'm stoked on it. I'm highly intrigued to see how they're going to tell the story now that Chadwick Boseman has passed.
Yeah.
Because Namor and the Black Panther are very intertwined. One of the more popular story arcs in the comic books is Battle of the Two Kings, where Namor floods Wakanda, and which is probably what this is going to be based off of.
Yeah.
And him and Namor like go at it. And now we don't have
him.
We don't have a Black Panther. We don't have T'Challa. So
yeah.
It's going to be kind of interesting how they tell the story now.
And it seems kind of like they've acknowledged that he won't be in it. Like that there won't be a Black Panther character in this movie.
Well, there will be a Black Panther. We don't know who it is. Implications are
I thought Kevin came out and said that he didn't feel like he could replace him.
He's not going to replace the character T'Challa. But there will be a Black Panther.
So, okay.
I'm sorry, let me take that back. He's not going to his words were, I thought it was too soon to recast T'Challa for Black Panther 2.
Yeah.
Which is, he was very specific. And I'm not recasting T'Challa for Black Panther 2. They're going to move on and tell the story of the movie. So he came out a couple days ago and said, this movie is about honoring Chadwick.
Yeah. Yep.
So who knows what happens in Black Panther 3 with all the multiverse shit and whatever.
Okay. But, so this is a tangent. What is a Marvel character that you do get stoked for?
Me? Wolverine. Yeah. Big Wolverine person.
So you've not been stoked for a while.
Oh, well, it's interesting because I get stoked for Thor. I get stoked for Spider-Man. I get stoked for any X-Men stuff. Even if it's trash, I still check it.
Not really had X-Men for a minute.
I know, that's been. I mean, I get stoked for MCU stuff in general, just because I like to see how the stories are told. Because these are stories that I've sat down and like read through. So when they come to fruition and they create the adaptations, I like to see like how they're gonna ground it and modernize it in this world. So yeah. So I mean, I get stoked for all of it.
No, I know, but like, there's got to be ones like for me, like there are characters that I like those storylines more. Like I look forward to that more than I do others.
Thor, anything Thor, man. Like,
so you're Thor,
big Thor guy.
Okay. All right, very good.
I know the tone is very comedic, but the elements of who he is and that world, Taika has done a great job of taking over and still dropping those small pieces of Thor's world into those movies, which is like the goats. The goats are exactly how they are in Love and Thunder.
People don't like the goats.
Yeah, they ain't like the goats, and that's how they are. Like I didn't get it. I was like, they are loud and obnoxious.
Yeah,
but they actually talk in the comic books. But they just kind of scream and just get in the way and shit. I thought it was hilarious, but whatever. I got stoked for all the Iron Man stuff. Rest in peace. Infinity Saga, everything was, great. I check it all, man. I like it all. I'm here for MCU.
No, I know you are.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out what are your choice notes. Like, what are the things you said Thor? So I mean, I get that. It's fine. Yeah. It's great. It's a good answer. I don't have a problem with it.
My childhood is yearning for the X-Men. Yeah.
And you think that that's coming? I think our first. Have they announced anything?
We've gotten, small placements of mutants.
But no like X-Men.
No
movie.
X-Men, yeah. I think Deadpool's gonna be like our first like real bite into that like world of like the X-Men. Yeah. We got Patrick Stewart as Professor X.
Yeah. He showed up. Yeah. That's good.
He's back again. Yeah.
Alan Rickman's Diaries.
Alan Rickman.
So Alan Rickman, Snape from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Alan Rickman.
Got you.
Die Hard.
Yeah.
So somebody I think is writing a book about him, and they have gotten a hold of his diaries. Seems like an odd thing to then tell everybody about like excerpts from the diaries.
Like his personal diary?
Yeah, he like does movie reviews in it. He kind of talks shit on the Harry Potter cast a little bit. These are like his personal writings. I don't think it was intended for
public viewing.
Although maybe he wanted the public to see them after he passed. I don't know. I don't know if there was like a stipulation that he made like in his will that these things could go public or not, but he has like, he didn't, there's excerpts where he talks about not wanting to be in the Harry Potter franchise anymore. And like, there's all different kinds of little tidbits that came out of it. But I was wondering how you would feel. First of all, do you keep a diary?
I don't keep a diary.
A journal?
And I don't keep a journal per se.
But scratch pad.
But I have I have two actually. Do you guys remember when we went through Core at Apple and they gave us those little black notebooks? I stole a bunch of them. So I just like when I need to ground myself and I'm very busy, I'll like write down like things I need to do, small notes to myself.
So lists.
Lists kind of.
Write lists.
I note to myself.
But they're not like emotional like musings. You're not trying to like work through things through your writing.
Nah, I'm not like having like a come to Jesus moment.
Did you ever?
Maybe once or twice.
You had like not a come Jesus moment, but like have you ever had a diary? Have you ever kept a journal, a log?
Yeah, when I was in like 4th grade.
Okay. Yeah. Little composition notebook kind of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you like diligent about it or did you just?
I think our teacher made us do it like as when she was like hungover.
Yeah. Did she have to read it?
I don't think she read it.
Okay.
You ever had a hungover teacher?
Like thinking back? Definitely. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think that's when
they
played movies.
When the laser disc came in.
We watched Labyrinth in economy. So
in economy.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
We watched the OJ chase in 6th grade. So
also relevant. Yeah. Yeah.
In English. Yeah. We watched the OJ chase.
Anybody else? Diaries, journals? Never consistently. You've had some bouts with it. You?
For some reason, this is like topical because in the last few weeks I've been really considering this, and I think it's because I keep getting an app update for I think day one. I installed it when I was at BOI because he was doing that for a while.
Yeah.
And I installed it, and they've updated a lot in the last few weeks. So I keep looking at it, going, I should probably use this, and I haven't.
I think it's good for your mental health.
And explain the concept of the app a little bit.
I've never used the app. I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
I just see that it updates. It's still on my phone and it updates from time to time.
Are you tricking us into an ad? Is this where we talk about
No,
this
not
episode
at all.
Brought to you by
Not at all. Nope. I was just curious.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've really considered it.
Talkspace?
For whatever reason. Yeah. But I haven't done it also for whatever reason.
It is something that is, like, for me, widely known. Like, people journal and keep diaries and document their life or their lives.
That's kind of what I do. I document things.
But I don't personally do that. And I don't feel like I know many people that do that. But yet it's still a thing that is kind of understood as a common practice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because like for me, I do kind of exactly what Cordy does.
Yeah.
I task manage.
Yeah.
Yeah, but are you keeping these things in the, like, with the thought of I will reflect on this later in life and learn from who I was?
I think it's good. I think, you know what? I'm lying because I did keep a journal when I lived in New York.
Okay.
Like an actual journal.
Yeah, like emotions, experiences,
like
thoughts, feelings, not like a to-do list.
So
of
I you know what? I take that back. Like I still have it.
Okay.
And like I go back and I kind of like.
So here we go.
So yeah.
We're learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't. Yeah, I did.
How would you feel about reading it on the show?
Oh, embarrassing as fuck. I'll read it. I can bring something.
So we've got to kill you first, and then we can read it on the show.
It's just full circle back to the Alan Rickman thing of, now he's having his diaries read out loud to the masses.
You gotta, what is it? You gotta embalm me and have me.
That's right. Taxidermy.
Oh, goodness gracious. James Earl Jones.
Darth Vader
signs over the voice of Darth Vader. I didn't realize that he had a hold on that of some kind, or a copyright or some kind of trademark on it.
It is. I think that the lore of this story is so, it's just so wild because originally the guy in the suit was doing the voice.
Yeah.
And George Lucas was like, this sounds fucking terrible.
Yeah.
And he was like, who can we get? And someone else played like something by James Earl Jones. And he was like, I want him to do the voice.
Sure.
And then he was like, I want the voice. And then they did the sound effects for the breathing. And he was like, yeah, this is it. And so apparently in the negotiation in his contract to do he was like, I want like some type of ownership to the voice of my voice for this character. So he's forever tied to Darth Vader.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming he sold his rights back to Lucas of himself.
Yeah.
That's what it is. He sold his own voice.
I think now they can do what they want with the Darth Vader voice. I don't necessarily know if it's his voice. I think
that's what I read.
I think he's just not tied to it anymore.
Nah, I'm not saying you're wrong. Josh, you can correct me if I'm right. If I'm wrong. It's
like if they wanted you to be Darth Vader's voice tomorrow, I think Disney could make it happen now.
Yeah.
Whereas before they couldn't.
From what I read is that he sold the rights to his voice so that they can continue using it with AI.
That's correct. Yes.
So
interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So he can continue being Darth Vader.
But does it give them the choice to also not?
Also say fuck it.
Like, could you bring in somebody that just sounds like him?
That's what I would think you would do. I mean, there's voice actors.
Yeah.
I mean, but if he has like hold on it.
So this article here also describes, first off, it is a company a Ukrainian company, startup, that essentially uses voice samples to create AI. And they said that they'd like to continue to work with Jones by informing him, quote, about their plans for Vader and to heed his advice on how to stay on the right course.
So there's going to be more Vader
consulting.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note, Bruce Willis is also doing something very similar
with his face.
He's just allowing, I suppose. I didn't really read much on this, but I guess it's just the continuation of his character in certain roles. Should there need to be?
Yeah, like the deep fake stuff. Remember in Star Wars when General Tark came back?
So like maybe if they want to like do a Die Hard where they like maybe pass off or hand the baton or he's in the background or something, he can still have. I mean, it's hard to imagine they're going to do like full on movies with Bruce Willis's like AI face.
Post credit scene and he's in the back, like you don't know what you're in for, kid.
Yeah. A little odd, but I feel like it's kind of bound to happen. I mean, the technology's there.
I think in 2022. We're very much in a technological space where you can secure the rights of yourself for longevity and like royalties for like your family and stuff like that. Like if they want to continue,
that's a good call.
The Die Hard legacy, for example.
Yeah, you could like attach your family to it still. in some sense.
And some like my grandchildren will still get paid if they decide to use me.
In the future,
my face or my likeness.
Okay.
That's how I, in a business sense.
I get it. I like that.
I don't think they do a whole movie with a fake Bruce Willis face.
Okay.
Also, there's no update on how he's been as of late.
No, I don't think that that's going to happen though.
Yeah, I think
I get the sense that he's
in the shadows.
off the grid.
Yeah.
And then he's going to be off the grid.
Yeah.
I don't think he's coming back. All right. So let's follow back up on this Noble Oak here. It's very noble. Wouldn't you say?
I enjoy it.
Josh?
Yeah, I enjoy it.
Enjoy it?
Yep.
Now, how do we feel about the darker bourbon color theory? Is it holding up?
I honestly can't. I don't think I've ever really paid attention. This is the first I'm hearing about the darker bourbon theory.
This is his theory.
No, I understand that. I know.
I'm just trying to support him.
I don't know if wild theories.
Are you going to go home and journal about it now?
I might.
Okay. All right.
These fuckers.
in 60 years, folks,
we'll
be going through that journal.
This is the
right
color.
here.
I'm going to sell my likeness so they can read the journal with my face.
I think it's very good. This is a choice pick. I would buy this for sure.
Let's go.
What was the price point on it?
That shit was like $50. I think.
Okay. Okay, yeah. I mean, it certainly tastes like it's not. Yeah, this is not a $35 bottle.
No.
It is 43 at total.
Okay.
And 40 from Flaviar.
Oh,
Flavor,
they definitely charged me
discount.
like $55 for that shit where I went.
Yeah. Well,
They got me.
There is varying prices depending on where you are, for sure, in the bourbon whiskey space.
They got me.
100%.
To your point about color, color doesn't necessarily denote good. Usually denotes age.
Okay.
But also, if it's cheaper and it's dark, it's probably artificially colored.
There we go.
There we go. Good shit.
All right. So this is going to be, this is great. The backtrack real quick. This is very good. I enjoy it. High marks all the way around. Way to go, Noble Oak. There are other versions, iterations, I take it. Maybe like not like
there was a rye they had.
some other fanciful things.
Correct. And then the Trinity Reserve.
Ooh.
I only got this one because it's bourbon month. And the last two I've got because you guys said it was bourbon month. That's why I did that.
This bourbon was awarded 94 points at the Ultimate Spirits Challenge, which means maybe nothing, last year, and was a finalist in the same. Was also awarded great value at the same thing.
Ooh.
And
So much.
won several other fairly minor awards. Their big thing is that they plant a tree. They're called Noble Oak because they plant a tree for every bottle sold. And according to them, they've planted
Really?
754,000 trees.
So for every bottle they sell,
Yeah,
they're planting a tree somewhere.
that's correct.
What if I want the tree planted right in front of my house?
Interesting.
Well, that's why you paid $50 for it. They'll be here tomorrow.
Yeah. Joke's on you.
And then I got to call customer service.
They're just going to walk up and just sprinkle seeds everywhere.
Just one.
You'll figure it out in a few years.
Just one seed.
what one seed?
Yeah, well, you only bought one bottle, so one seed.
One tree seed.
Yeah.
No, it's got to be like a partially grown tree already. Yeah, I plant it. Yeah, don't just give me a seed.
Well, I don't know if you can really make these demands. All right.
Especially not for $8.
Yeah, exactly. So this episode is going to come out in October. So it's officially kicking off our Halloween season, our spooky season with Halloween themed episodes.
Your birthday month.
And my birthday month, yes. Now this episode is not heavily themed with Halloween, but we will close it out talking about Dahmer and some other serial killers. We'll kind of kick off that way. And then we'll have some more concepts moving forward throughout the rest of the month. We talked about doing the pumpkin flavored beer thing. We're
gonna do some
more to come.
Spooky stuff.
Yeah. All right. So did you watch any Dahmer? No?
Not yet. Not yet. I had a really busy week, so no, not yet.
Not yet.
I think I will.
It's gonna make it hard to talk about on this episode.
I know. And I think I will.
It's all good.
I had to get over the initial kind of backlash about it. And then I had to let that die down because I didn't want that to impression me while I was watching it.
How did you what about the backlash scared you off of it?
To be honest, a lot of the backlash was about people saying we're going to watch the show and relive all of the black trauma that he caused for these families. And I was just like, I was like, damn, that's fucked up. Mm-hmm. But then I was like, we watch serial killers do shit all the fucking time.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, are we being, and I'm gonna be honest, I was like, are we being hypersensitive or are we just picking and choosing?
Yeah.
So I was like,
it's a good debate.
So I just kind of I wanted it to wash over me. And once it's done and gone and
diary about it.
Yeah, then
write some notes.
Write in my stolen
a list of reasons you should or shouldn't.
In my stolen Apple journal. And then I was like, then I made the decision. I'm gonna watch.
Then you can enter it with a clear mind.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of relevant news pieces as it relates to
that too,
the Dahmer thing. So the first is what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. It got some bad press for romanticizing a serial killer and not wanting to relive trauma, obviously being one thing. And it got kind of review bombed by critics because everybody felt like we shouldn't really be watching shows. They shouldn't be making these shows to begin with. They shouldn't really exist. Which is the biggest piece of feedback that critics really had to offer up. It has a very high audience rating. Mm-hmm. It's a very good show in my opinion. It's very well done. If you're into the serial killer thing, then okay. So that's one piece. The second piece is that Netflix was promoting it as LGBTQ content. And so there was a bunch of backlash over that. Yes. So Netflix has pulled that
because he
categorization.
I do know that.
They took the tag off.
They took the tag off. Yeah. Because he is technically like he's gay.
Yeah. Okay.
So it is a like gay story. But the idea was that it's not the type of gay story that we want to tell. So it's not. So anyway, Netflix pulled that off. They got in a little bit of like.
Did the power just cut off? Did they cancel us already?
They got in some hot water for that. And then the third piece of news that came out was that it's the biggest like streaming series for Netflix, like the most streamed series for a week. So it wasn't it's not the longest running necessarily. We'll see if it keeps that going. But it beat out as far as most watched hours in a week, launch week.
Damn.
It beat out everything else on Netflix. It beat out
that news
Squid
is going to create
Stranger
intrigue.
Things. Yeah.
You know what I mean? People are going to want to see what all the news and all the fuss is about.
Yeah. So you've not seen any of it. I saw you watching a little bit of it earlier. Yeah.
It's good.
It's good.
It is.
Isaiah says it's good.
He says it's good.
So I've been hearing takes that they are humanizing him too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I'm iffy on because I feel like he's still a person.
He's still a human. He is still a person. Yeah.
His story deserves to be told in its totality.
Yeah.
If you're gonna tell it, you tell the story in its totality.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't paint him one way or the other. You paint him as him.
Correct.
Yeah. And
also,
what?
I don't want to feel bad for Jeffrey Dahmer.
Sure. So that's an interesting piece to it because like Emily and I, we finished the whole series and it's grueling. It's 10 hours. So if I were to come up front with a little like hot take on it, I'd say it could probably be 8. You could trim it back a little bit. It's long. They're about hour episodes each, but it's 10 episodes. But anyway, we worked our way through it. We got through it. The show is from start to finish his life. So like childhood, like all the way up.
Netflix does the thing where they filler episodes, flashback.
Yeah. So the only thing that I would say, like in defense of the 10 episodes, is I do feel as if Netflix puts a lot of emphasis on the victim stories and those characters. So there are entire episodes that are dedicated to telling the life story of a victim. Not necessarily in the context of their relationship with Jeffrey Dahmer. Thank you so much. But telling who this person was, that's an interesting thing where you kind of talk about the humanizing of the Jeffrey Dahmer, person or whatnot, which that is going to happen when you're watching a kid go through traumatic things. You're going to feel bad for them. Obviously, it doesn't necessarily justify what they're doing later in their life.
Right.
But I would say that with a drama series like that, where it's not like a documentary, I oftentimes feel like they do a better job of telling the victim story than they do the serial killer story. Because I feel like documentaries, when it's all like you're watching real footage or real evidence or, you're listening to detectives or cops speak about it, they are oftentimes more focused on the serial killer. There's more content on the serial killer or on that person.
Uncovering things about him.
Yeah, because there's more there. There's more substance to it because that's what's the basis of the case. Right. So when you have a dramatization of this person's life, I can see why people would be upset about maybe humanizing him. I mean, there are human aspects to him, of course, at various stages in his life. But I do think the outlier in it is that you get to see all the victims in a much more like fleshed out way, if that makes sense.
I did see a thread of like the court videos of how well the actors did portray like Dahmer and like the families. Yeah. Which is, I know that's really tough.
It's incredibly accurate. They do side-by-sides.
Yeah, that's what I saw. Yeah.
And it's like really remarkably accurate.
Yeah.
So I think they do justice to it in the sense that like they're at least being very accurate, or I think they're trying to be sensitive to the fact that they want to get the facts and details right. It's tough. I've never been in that situation where I've had family like personally like involved in a situation like that. So I can't really say how I would feel about it. But the only pushback I would say on it is I think that it does a better job of telling the victim stories than I would wager a documentary would, which October 7th, Netflix is putting out the Jeffrey Dahmer documentary. So they kind of like doubled down on the Jeffrey Dahmer thing.
They got on the ball. Remember we talked about this?
Netflix has, so the streaming services have a real interesting thing where they do that.
We talked about this on the episode. It was like with the Tommy Lee shit. Like one streaming service did the actual show and then another one did the documentary.
Yeah, but this is both Netflix.
Yeah, and now Netflix is doing like the double down.
Yeah, so Netflix has a series, something tapes, like Josh, you can look this up.
This is the one with they have a John Wayne Gacy one.
They have a John Wayne Gacy one and they have a Ted Bundy one. It's the same director and producing team that did those is doing the Jeffrey Dahmer one. And so it is going to kind of all be continuous.
Is it Conversations with a Killer?
There it is. I think that might be it. Yeah. Or I think that's it. Is it on Netflix? Is that right?
Yeah, it is. Yep.
Yes. Okay, great.
Yeah, John Wayne Gacy, Dahmer, and Ted Bundy.
They got to triple down and do a Mindhunter season with Dahmer.
Yeah.
Because, it goes to, I was listening to, I heard something, two things actually. And they were saying how there's this recent obsession with retelling the stories of the escapades of serial killers.
Yeah.
Isaiah's talking about that retelling of the...
And it's like, we're kind of obsessed with it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think people are fascinated by by serial killers naturally. It's hard kind of not to be. The extremes of humanity and what they're capable of it's kind of like people that are really into like World War II or Hitler or like Nazi stuff. Like there's people that find that just like endlessly fascinating and just
why the mind works that way to do this type of thing.
Yeah. I feel like the serial killers are kind of in that same space.
We can't get it. I mean, and though by no means you can't get it super excited. I guess you can by a fictional serial killer adaptation by someone like the Riddler, in a Batman movie, but his inspiration comes from
real life
serial killers.
That's the other thing. That's such a great point, though, is that like so many of the villains that are fictional are really like
based on real life.
Like the Riddler's based on the Zodiac. Like they all have, and there's nothing. I mean, obviously, a fictional character can be scary, but there's nothing scarier than like the real person. So I think it's like human nature to want to get to that point or get to that place where you're uncovering the, the non-fictional side of it.
What a spooky episode.
I don't know if it's that spooky.
I'm scared.
Not yet, though. Just kidding. But you like Mindhunter. Are there any other, do you track with serial killers? Have you ever had like a serial killer phase where you've been into that stuff or?
I mean, I feel like we both kind of have an affinity for like dark, kind of like, I think a couple weeks ago I finished the Waco shit with like the Waco, docuseries, not docuseries, but the limited series on like Netflix, like where he was fucking crazy as shit. Like I think
cult stuff is like a whole other.
I mean, it's a whole other thing, but
that's a whole other.
It's still. I kind of feel like it's still under that same umbrella.
Yes.
Yeah. How I feel about serial killers is how I feel about cults.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm locked in.
Yeah. I
enjoy Mindhunter, and it's very, very tough. It's very, very tough. With the Dahmer thing, to feel like he was victimizing a particular group of people.
Yes.
And to be in that group of people and then be like, but I also enjoy this genre. It's a toss up, but again, like I said, I had to let it wash over me and be like, I still enjoy this, and I'll get to it, but but I can't enjoy that and then enjoy fucking Silence of the Lambs or goddamn. I can.
One, while as based on reality as it may be, by simple fact of it being a fictional work, it's not reality.
Yeah.
That's true.
Very true.
Literally happened. There are people who are not here anymore.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Silence of the Lambs was based on a true story as well. So they just didn't do the true, true story.
Yeah.
So I love serial killer shit. I don't want to say that I hate that I love it, but that shit is just wild interesting to me that people operate like this.
Do you have
sad,
is there a serial killer that you feel is?
Who's your favorite serial killer?
Who's your favorite serial killer? Who do you least want to come up against?
The names are only front facing when I'm in front of them, but I think probably who was the big guy? He was like 6'8".
Gacy.
Was it Gacy?
Gacy?
Gacy, yeah.
The clown.
Was it the clown?
Yeah, the killer clown. John Wayne Gacy.
Oh yeah, I'm not fucking with. No, he wasn't the clown. He was in Mindhunter, and he wore the glasses. He was big as shit. So like when I saw that episode, when I saw that season, I went down like a YouTube rabbit hole of like all this shit.
God, what is his name? Ed Kemper.
Kemper.
Yeah. Well,
he's fucking sick.
Ed Kemper, man.
Ed Kemper.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of like a kind of a deep cut serial killer. It's not like one of the top three, but yeah, I got you.
I thought we're gonna sound like sickos, but
it's a Halloween episode. This is the idea.
I thought Zodiac was crazy.
Zodiac's a wild boy.
Wild boy. I mean, of course, Dahmer's probably the darkest. He's the darkest
chapter in that. It would probably be like, it's probably, if you were, Ed Gein is kind of the godfather of all serial killers. Dahmer's right below that. Gacy's pretty close. Gacy's pretty nasty. Yeah. That's a rough time right there. Yeah. I don't know if you're like deep into that, but he's a pretty rough time. And then below that, there's like a pool of serial killers.
Ranking serial killers.
Yeah. I mean, Ed Kemper, BTK, even like
BTK. Manson.
Golden State Killer. They're all like, they're terrible people, did horrible things. But Dahmer did tap into something that was very, very
I'll tell you, I just sat here for the last 5 minutes and read about all of his victims, and I need to start a journal.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm a little fucked up right now.
I bet you do.
I need to recover.
You're about the Dahmer victims?
Okay.
Yeah.
Shit, I'm black. Imagine how I feel.
Dahmer's.
The thing about it is that they weren't all black. Actually,
he did.
He mentioned like the race was incidental. You know?
Like
his thing,
and that's I think the internet kind of hyped that part of it, which was
the drilling heads bit is what did it for me.
Oh yeah, the acid.
Oof.
Creating zombies and stuff. Wild time. That's what I'm saying. His stuff is dark.
Yep.
That's dark. Ed Gein has maybe an edge on him. And there's just not as much documentation on Ed Gein. He's older. It's from the 50s. There's just not as much. But I mean, the reports of what he did and what they found are probably, like I said, they have a leg up on Dahmer even. But yeah, Dahmer's dark times.
Sick fucks.
Dark times, man.
We're creeping right into October.
But I feel like to the point of Dahmer like killing, saying like, oh, I don't kill like specifically like, black or brown people or whatever. Like I never intentionally chose. Like I think they all have a victim pool that is very specific. Like
he can say
Gacy did young boys. Dahmer did like, the gay community. He was kind of went after that, especially like, ones that were like partying or, late night kind of like drug scene. Like I think he kind of like went after that. He knew that was going to be a safe space for him to operate. Or even Golden State. I mean, he did the same thing. He did people that he knew he could
get
overpower.
away.
Yeah, I mean, it was very. There's always like a group of people that kind of gets isolated out, and that's what they work in. Like everybody finds their like niche of humanity that they can go after. I don't know.
Even Winnie the Pooh is getting this serial killer.
That's right.
Jesus.
That's right.
Blood and honey.
All right. So Ed Kemper. You don't want to mess with Kemper.
So I'm gonna say, like,
that's
clearly
that's
you
a good
can see
answer.
me. I'm not a big guy, right? So a 6'8", 6'9" serial killer is kind of like, all right, like this guy's like, I don't want no parts of that.
But see, like the thing with Kemper is, you're not his target.
Yeah, of course.
He didn't go after men.
He's not going after me. But let's decide that day he wants to go after me. Like,
oh, he's a big dude.
Yeah, if I don't,
he's a big dude.
If I can't get to the safe, it's a wrap.
Yeah,
I'm done. I'm cooked.
Yeah,
we're all. Honestly, if Ed Kemper wanted any four of us,
one on any of us, sure, he could take all of us at the same time. Do you have a serial killer that lingers, that sticks with you the most? Like most people have one that just like clicks in their head.
So for me, it's probably Zodiac killer.
Zodiac, okay.
Because like just everything around the Zodiac killer.
Riddles and rhymes, yeah.
To try to catch them.
Sure.
Yeah.
And still no luck.
Whole movie, fam.
Still no luck. Duval?
I can't say that I have I really know many serial killers.
That's good.
No,
it's okay.
No,
that's because Josh is the serial killer.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, but
why do you think he goes to Disney once a month?
What do you think?
Would we count the DC sniper as a
I was about to say that.
DC sniper?
Lee Malvo?
Yes.
Lee Malvo,
yeah.
For me,
yeah,
that was scary as
fuck. Was an interesting period, yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
And they just told us to zigzag while getting gas.
Yeah, DC sniper is a serial killer.
They just told us to just run around. Like, nah.
The kid's up for parole.
Yeah, I think he got denied.
I think, but doesn't he get out regardless in 2023 or 2024 or something?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's up because he was a child when it happened, so they can't keep him.
Yeah, and that's so interesting.
Yeah, there's a podcast, a monster podcast on. I don't know if you listen to the monster podcast. I obviously am like the one on this show that's way more into serial killers than other people, but there's a monster podcast and they do serial killers. So they did the Atlanta child murders. They did DC Sniper.
I watched something on that too, the Atlanta child murders.
Atlanta child murders is the second season of Mindhunter is on the Atlanta child murders.
That's right. That's Mindhunter. Yeah.
And there is a documentary on HBO about that as well. Yes, Atlanta's missing kids. Yep. I lost my train of thought.
Don't matter. Serial killers.
Yeah. Anyway, DC Sniper. Sorry, Monster Podcast. Monster Podcast has a series on the DC Sniper. It's very, very, very good.
I'll check it out.
It's very good. And if you like Zodiac, their first season of their series is on the Zodiac, and that is also excellent.
So we were just talking about the DC Sniper. So. Yeah. Lee Malvo, the kid.
Yeah.
Yes.
In late August 26th, the Maryland Court of Appeals ordered resentencing in order to comply with Supreme Court judgment. So he will be resentenced in Maryland.
Damn.
And additionally, 4 days later, on the 30th of August, so a month ago, he was denied parole by Virginia again.
We couldn't get gas. Like, imagine trying to get gas thinking you can get your head shot off.
Yeah.
Like, the cop, nobody did anything. They just told us to run around.
There's a lot more story behind how all of that like went down and who those people were, like who those two guys were, and their life story is
that movie's
very, very fascinating.
That movie's
very fascinating.
Where was it? What was it on? Yeah, that movie's coming.
Gosh,
how much time we got?
We're running out, but I got
to piss. That's why I was asking.
No, that's fine. We'll wrap this up in 5 minutes. Adnan Syed, did you listen to the Serial podcast?
I didn't listen to the podcast.
Yeah, he's
in the news.
He's out. No, he's out. He's out.
That's crazy. That
you didn't listen to the podcast though.
I attempted to, and it was so brutal that I couldn't.
Brutal, like boring, or
brutal, like.
And you just don't want to hear
I was just like, I can't do this. Like, it was affecting like my mood day to day, like of how like sad it was. I can't do this.
Okay. Anybody else get through it? Nobody else. Okay, very good. HBO documentary. Did you watch that? There's an HBO documentary but I watched, on that case.
I was gonna say there was a show that kind of did the same thing to me the night of, and I was just like, I can't.
Oh yeah, that's also intense.
Yeah, too intense. I was like, I can't do it.
Did you finish the night of?
Oh no, I was like, it's too intense.
Oh wow,
my anxiety was going through the roof for this guy.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah, the serial killer episode's not for you then.
I don't know if I can do it. I'm gonna try.
It's all good. I mean, this is what we're in right now. I don't think we're gonna expand on it unless you decide you want to get into it.
There's two podcasts I listen to. One's called Serial Killers and one's called Cults.
Yeah. I've listened to the Colts one. I've not gotten into the Colts one too much. I wasn't crazy about the podcast itself, but I love Colts and I watch the the shows all the time.
The pods are like strictly fact based.
Yeah.
Much commentary about them.
No, you're good, dude. Get out of here.
Fact based all the way.
Yeah. Did you see Heaven's Gate on HBO? Have you watched that documentary? Yeah. The Heaven's Gate documentary on HBO is pretty wicked. That's a wild time. That's probably, I don't know, maybe the most, as far as Colts are concerned, maybe one of the more interesting ones. Waco has certainly its moments for sure, but I think Heaven's Gate is the weirdest. NXIVM on HBO, that's also great. Wild Wild Country, did you watch that one? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Wild Wild Country. That's probably the best done out of all of the series, like from a cinematography standpoint or production standpoint. Now that it's just me here, guys.
That's it. There it is.
We lost Courtney.
Yep.
On the serial killer episode, he dipped out. Well, I don't know what to say, guys. I'm not really sure. BTK, that's my serial killer choice. Oh, good call.
Why do you like him so much?
Well, so BTK he operated for a very long time. His body count is not like off the charts, but he's a very dark kind of interesting person as far as how he like killed people and the methodology behind it. He was also
Let me catch you up. Taylor loves BTK.
Yeah.
Admires BTK.
That's my serial killer. It was BTK. He also was like, had a completely normal life outside, like had a wife, had kids.
Of course, yeah.
Did like coached, the softball team and was like on the PTA and like was like had a job and was very like highly functioning person, but also had this like 30-year spree of killing people. But he also didn't have, and this is also an interesting thing, like the Dahmer thing, not to go back to Dahmer too much, but Dahmer was kind of a terrible serial killer. He really was bad. He was just lucky in the sense that he was killing people that nobody was really noticing or paying attention to. Whereas BTK was like, he would kill somebody and it would be like this big thing and horrific, and they would search for him and then he would just dip out for like 5 years. Then he would come back. Like he had like this system to it. It was just, it felt more menacing and it was way more like maniacal. Whereas Dahmer was just kind of like, I'm just going to keep doing this till I get caught. And a lot of serial killers are that way. They kind of just can't resist.
Yeah. This is their passion.
Yeah. But BTK seemed to kind of be able to put a lid on it a little bit. And there was like there's a book that I read about the guy that
Mindhunter books.
So the guy that Mindhunter is based off of. Yeah. That FBI agent.
Original guy.
Yes.
Oh, the FBI guy.
Yeah. So the original guy, he is the one that like tracked BTK throughout his whole like thing, like spent like 30 years like tracking him down or whatever. It was a very long time. And so he wrote a book about like the whole thing. Like he was like the point guy on all the BTK stuff. And there's just such like a cat and mouse between the two of them. And what BTK did was like just again horrific and so brutal and so dark. But it felt very much like a chess match between like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not like, I don't know. He just was he's a very daunting person. Like he just seems super intimidating. Like serial killers that go on like killing sprees and kind of get caught shortly thereafter aren't as scary to me. Yeah. It's a little more like a dog chasing a car or something. It's not, as opposed to like somebody who's like really in the driver's seat. Golden State Killer felt a little bit like that, but it kind of turned out he was a cop. So he had the inside hand, like he had the inside scoop on a lot of things. So that probably takes a little bit of it off. But yeah. I don't know. Somebody who's got like the mind and like the ability to like really control their urges and impulses is a little scarier than somebody who doesn't.
Yeah, they can control it.
Yeah. That's why he was kind of like
the fact that you can control an urge and your urge is to kill people in a certain type of way. I don't know if that's more maniacal than like I would say I kind of think like a Lee Malvo was cowardice. Like you're doing it from a distance. Like you got to have some fucking balls.
Yeah.
to kidnap somebody.
Yeah.
And torture them and do this fucking sick ass shit that you're doing and not be grossed out about it in no type of way. In fact, it incites you to do more. Like, that's the sick shit.
Yeah.
Like, Lee Malvo was just popping people from a gas station from 50 yards, 100 yards out. Like, you're a coward, bro. Like, you're...
Yeah. And that had a time limit to it.
Yeah.
Like, the whole East Coast mobilized. Like, everybody was hunting them down. And there was like, they went on like a little bit of a spree, right? Like, they had a killing spree where they just
What summer was that? Like 2003?
They knew that the clock was going to run out.
I think it was 1.
I think in Baltimore we were a little safe, but my grandmother lives in Richmond, so I would be driving. That
the closer to DC you were, the worse it was.
Having to get gas was dangerous as fuck.
2002.
2002. Yeah.
It was a dicey time, man. It's a dicey time. All right. I feel like we invested a good amount of time in the whole serial killer thing.
It's spooky season.
Yeah, it's spooky season. We won't.
What are we going to talk about next week?
We won't dwell there any longer. I'm thinking next week might be more fun. We'll just do like a round of pumpkin beers. We'll do some reviews on pumpkin beers.
I'll get a good one.
I think the idea would be that we should like get a series of them
and just do it all throughout the month.
And then we'll get like a couple of pumpkin beers. We'll line them up and then we'll just rate them. Like we're not gonna like all each of us drink like 8 pumpkin beers, but we can have sips.
I'll just take an Uber home.
We could have sips of pumpkin beers, and then we'll rate them. That would be fun.
Challenge accepted.
I saw a pumpkin whiskey the other day, which I mean has to be the worst.
You got the autonomous shit, right, Josh?
There it is.
Drop us off.
2 clicks,
and then we'll do like we'll dress up one episode. I don't know. We'll do some things. We'll talk. We can talk about it.
Definitely dressing up.
We'll talk about it off air. Figure it out.
Whatever episode falls around my daughter's birthday party, which is going to be dress up.
Yeah,
you boys are invited.
Great. We'll come. We'll talk about serial killers.
Excellent. She's going to love it.
Of course.
I'm going to come as BTK.
I'm definitely going to dress up. I dress up every year for Halloween with my girls.
That's great.
I love that. They don't know who I dress up as. I think last year I did. No, I didn't do last year because it was on a whack day. It was like a Tuesday. So I just kind of walked them around. But year before that, I did Clark Kent. Year before that, I did a Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
I always dress up as a white man. So...
Good for you, dude. Good for you.
You just took my joke. I was going to ask you if you ever do whiteface.
I do whiteface on Halloween.
All right. More to come on spooky season and spooky month.
Yeah, man. It's going to be fun.
Watch list. Mine is very short. And we're just going to burn through them because we're way out of time. So watch list. Dahmer, I finished that, but we did a deep dive on that already. We talked about that at great lengths. House of the Dragon.
Watch that.
90 Day Fiance. I watched that.
They're trying to take away the fierceness of Rhaenyra by humanizing her as a mother.
It was a slow episode, I thought.
Yeah.
I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
I thought it was a slow episode. Not too much happened that I was like, this is fun. It was more of a transitional episode is what it felt like.
Yeah,
here are our new characters. Yeah. They're older. This is what they're dealing with right now.
Yeah.
Not as much like shifting.
Yeah, it's setting the plate for like the next 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Like this is where they are. And then the next one will be, oh shit. And then we'll move away from that. And then we'll get a new Rhaenyra in like 2 episodes.
Yeah, we did get some deaths. Well, there was the one by the dragon.
Oh yeah, that was crazy. I thought that was liberating for her to decide on her own terms.
Yeah, well, she had mentioned earlier in the episode she was like, "I'm gonna go out on my own." You know?
Yeah.
So
where Viserys didn't give his wife that option.
Yeah.
Or she didn't even have that option. They were
correct.
Like, hold her down.
Yeah. She made the option for herself or took that option for herself, I guess, whatever.
That sucks, man.
I think that sets the tone to send David back over the edge. Because in this episode, he was very calm. He was a dad.
This
is what life is. This is where I'm at.
I'm done. I always got to bring it to the show. I have to. But like Black Twitter had like a moment of a House of the Dragon moment, and it was about like Damon and the girls that he left, and it was like a shot.
Oh, I saw that.
Oh my god, it was fucking hilarious. And he was like, the caption was like, I hope you guys know how to do your own hair.
I also like how he didn't age at all, and everybody else.
Oh no,
did.
everybody was like,
Everybody else got new characters, and he was just the same dude. His brother looks like the Crypt Keeper. Like the king looks like so much worse. Yeah, he looks like
what's his name from Scary Movie 2? To show up my little Take my good hand, my strong hand.
Take my strong hand.
Oh, I'm also wearing a Friday the 13th shirt. So that's spooky season. There you go.
How many
spooky
Friday
season,
the 13th movies are there?
It's
Is
a
it
lot.
Like 9 or 10?
9 or 10, I think.
That brand will never go away.
Well, it goes all the way up to there's Friday the 13th like X, which I think is that 10? Is that what that stands
Freddy
for?
versus Jason.
Then there's Freddy versus Jason. Then there's the new Friday the 13th series. 12. Yeah.
And they really kind of chilled on him in the later years. Like there's been no like.
Well, so there was a big, not to even push a long episode even longer, but there was a big dispute over ownership rights of Jason Voorhees, the character.
Just do the show.
So that recently has been settled in court. And so apparently there's some new Friday the 13th stuff maybe in the works or on the way, but it's been in limbo for like the last like decade.
Yes.
They've been sorting through it
Freddy
on a legal basis.
Freddy too. I mean, you knew Freddy shit in a long time.
Yeah. I don't know what the deal is with Freddy Krueger. We can get into these guys next week if you want.
Okay. All right, I'll hold it.
Yeah. I feel like,
You know where I'm going.
I don't, but we'll talk about it offline.
Fuck.
All right. Godspeed.
Episode 33.